Jake Paul and Mike Tyson now have been suspended from boxing after a controversial fight in Texas.
Mike Tyson and Jake Paul just got banned from boxing for life, and honestly, why wouldn't they? They've committed the ultimate sin, scamming the most passionate audience in sports boxing fans. These fans aren't about to let them pocket millions while delivering what many see as a scripted circus.
The whole thing was scripted. The whole thing was just a money grab. And for a lot of us that love...
Sure, this might not hit Tyson too hard, he's retired anyway, but Jake-O, he's in deep trouble. His entire career is on the verge of crumbling, and there's not much he can do about it now. This so-called win came with a price he wasn't ready to pay, and now the damage is done. If only Jake had thought about the consequences beforehand.
Tyson versus Jake Paul just got Netflix sued.
But here we are watching him try to piece together a shattered reputation. It's a classic case of crying over spilled milk, but the jug is empty, and there's no one left to care.
Many are upset over the Jake Paul and Mike Tyson fight, with some people claiming that it was rigged because many people bet a lot of money and they lost a lot of money. Allegedly, there's this script that got leaked showing how the fight was supposed to go down between Mike Tyson.
All right, let's cut the fluff and get to the real fallout nobody's talking about. Sure, we all know Tyson and Jake Paul's fight was scripted, but the aftermath, oh, it's uglier than Jake's fake victory grin behind the scenes. Major sponsors are pulling the plug faster than you can say. Career suicide brands that once plastered Tyson's face on energy drinks and Jake on overpriced merch are now distancing themselves like it's a PR pan-picked thing.
The whole thing was scripted. The whole thing was just a money grab. And for a lot of us that love Mike, and despite what he said in that interview with the girl about the legacy, we love him and his legacy. And we didn't like what we saw.
Let's not forget the boxing commissions. They're not just banning these two, there are working rules to prevent another disaster like this. Rumor has it that even pay-per-view platforms are considering giving influencers a stage. After this mess, fans, they're rallying for refunds, dragging both Tyson and Jake through the mud on every platform imaginable. This isn't just a slap on the wrist, it's a full-blown career obliteration for Jake, and a giant asterisk on Tyson's legacy.
Jake Paul, Mike Tyson fight.
Interesting.
Script. How so? What do you mean by
It's
script?
weird.
Like scripted in what way?
I don't know. I actually really like Jake Paul. It just seems so... It's odd, really.
Timing.
I mean,
It's obviously odd.
No, he fights two no-names.
If you're wondering how the boxing community took the news, here's a spoiler that it was not taken well. Fans, analysts, and even the governing bodies have erupted into chaos, leaving Tyson and Paul's careers in ashes.
Averaging more punches than he did in that fight with McBride in the exhibition against Roy Jones, where he averaged 24 punches around.
From the moment the match started, the alarm bells rang loud. Tyson, a name synonymous with ruthless power, was throwing punches that wouldn't scare a toddler. Jake Paul, the self-proclaimed new face of boxing, responded by tumbling around the ring like he was auditioning for a slapstick comedy.
Jake Paul and Mike Tyson now have been suspended from boxing after a controversial fight in Texas. Now, why, you may ask? Now, I didn't know this, okay?
Fans were quick to notice the exaggerated reactions. Paul hit the canvas after what could only be described as a phantom punch, while Tyson's so-called hits looked more like gentle pats. The whole match of something scripted. Every punch, every stumble, every fake grimace screamed, "This is staged," and it was looking impossible to believe in what they were seeing.
Like 2 days in a row.
Wasn't the Tyson Jake fight, wasn't that amazing?
Yeah. It's amazing they got paid so much money.
For fans who shelled out their hard-earned money on pay-per-view and tickets, this felt like a robbery in broad daylight. The promise of a genuine showdown between a legend and a rising star was reduced to a circus act. The backlash was immediate and unrelenting.
At any point did you start to take your foot off the gas just a little bit because you noticed he was tiring out?
Yeah, definitely. Definitely a bit. You know, I wanted to give the fans a show, but I didn't want to hurt someone that didn't need to be.
Die-hard supporters of Mike Tyson, a man whose career once stood as a pillar of credibility in the boxing world, were especially gutted. Many couldn't believe the same fighter who ruled the heavyweight division with iron fist would stoop to something as ridiculous as a scripted boxing fight. It was really hard to believe for everyone.
People expected. You know, Mike's almost 60 years old. He's Mike Tyson, and he's 60 years old. And He knew that Jake Paul couldn't do anything to him. So you knew what you were going to get.
Jake Paul's fan base, already a mix of skeptics and loyalists, wasn't any kinder. His supporters may have forgiven his antics before, but a staged fight that was the last straw. Social media turned into a battlefield of memes, insults, and calls for refunds. When boxing officials finally stepped in, their response was as dramatic as the fight itself: a lifetime ban for both Tyson and Paul. That's right, neither of them will ever legally step into a professional boxing ring. Again, the decision was swift and brutal as officials labeled the fight a disgrace to the sport.
Last night seemed like something that very much tarnished his legacy.
In their official statement, the boxing governing bodies made it clear this wasn't just about Tyson and Paul. The scripted fight had tainted the sport's already fragile credibility and jeopardized its reputation on a global scale. They needed to make an example out of these two, and boy, did they succeed.
Really good at the end. Now he's 58 and he's been living a kind of life. How's he going to have a chance? I'll put everything up there. I'm laying money. I think it's minus 220, whatever. But it was minus 20. I'm putting everything.
For Tyson, this scandal is nothing short of catastrophic. Here was a man whose name carried weight not just in the ring, but in the cultural zeitgeist. He wasn't just a boxer, he was an icon, a brand, and a living legend. Now, his once flawless legacy is riddled with doubt. Fans are questioning whether his career was as authentic as it seemed, or if other matches would have also been staged. Was this just a one-time mistake, or does it point to a pattern of behavior? Whatever the answer, the damage is done.
Pocket goes low and gets in, and he did that and had a clear opening on Jake, and Jake went like this, and Mike just didn't hit him, and that's the video I'm seeing everywhere. But I remember in the
Then there's Jake Paul, who has somehow managed to turn controversy into a career, or at least he did until this stage fight blew up in his face. Paul's rise from YouTube prankster to professional fighter was already met with skepticism, but he kept catching in on the attention until now.
Requested the 2-minute rounds, wanting to see more action. He just ran in the overhand right, testing the field.
The backlash from this fiasco has left his career in shambles. Sponsors have pulled out, fans have jumped ship. Even casual viewers who might have tuned in just for the spectacle are turning their backs for someone like Paul, whose entire business model relies on being in the public eye. This is a career-ending blow.
Friday's big ringside fight could be heading to court. A Florida man has filed a $50 million lawsuit against Netflix, claiming breach of contract.
If you thought the lifetime ban was bad, wait until you hear about the financial repercussions. Fans aren't just angry, they're suing. Many are demanding refunds for what they claim was false advertising. After all, they paid to see a real fight, not a poorly choreographed performance.
News streaming giant Netflix is being issued a class action in relation to the Mike Tyson and Jake Paul fight.